Time now for the markets with Leighton, and you say a little over 3 weeks away from some very important numbers.
That's right, and the trade already counting down to March 31st and the prospective plantings and quarterly grain stocks report. The jury's still out on how much those numbers might move the market. Well, in the meantime, ideas that China will limit imports continue to foster so much fear in the cotton market. Declining demand is the overriding worry for the corn trade this spring. While cattle analysts seem to agree what happens this summer is key to deciding which way the beef market is going to go. Well, not too many bulls are to be found in the cotton market in March. As Georgia economist Don Shirley puts it, it seems that what good news comes along is overshadowed by other factors. Shirley notes that cotton acreage this year will largely depend on peanut acreage in parts of the South and Mid-South, and peanut acreage will depend on rotation factors as well as input cost. Meanwhile, analyst Elaine Cubb agrees that the signs of trouble in the cotton trade are not hard to see these days.
The International Cotton Association announced, their projections that total global production would go down 15%. So you would have liked to see a bullish response in the market, but it didn't happen because there's so much fear about Asian demand. We're still expecting to see very large inventories of cotton. So to have bullish news like that come in and then not get a response, long term, that's not a really great signal to the market. I think there's support here, and particularly if the dollar can move lower. I mean, you could expect to see that bounce along some of these other ag markets, but again, I'm not expecting to see a major change.
To try and give cotton growers some inspiration in these tough times, the Cotton Board unveiled a new ad campaign at the recent Mid-South Farm and Gin Show titled Renew Your Faith in Cotton. The 6th ad campaign will focus on the research and promotion projects put in motion by Cotton Incorporated. AgFacts.com reports innovations such as cottonseed for food production and breakthroughs in fiber technology will be highlighted. The overall message, cotton is the food of the future and the fiber of the future. Ag economist Darrell Good with the University of Illinois says the continued sideways price pattern in corn reflects ample supplies on the market. He tells Brownfield Ag News the biggest concern continues to be the slow pace of movement in the corn export market. How bad is it? Well, Good says at this point in the marketing year, the pace of corn shipments needs to increase by at least 50%. Now, as for tips on a marketing plan for corn, Mark Welch of Texas AgriLife says that he is currently 20% priced on new crop and looks for some additional pricing opportunities this spring. Trader Darren Newsom is clearly disappointed in the demand situation for corn this spring. He likens the corn predicament to what has happened to crude oil lately.
Corn is basically the crude oil of the grain world. We have huge supplies, I should say huge ending stocks. We have demand that is disappointing. We're looking at supposedly year-to-year demand that is less, that's coming down. I think there's a chance that we could see some planting delays this spring. That's going to give us an opportunity. We're running around the 380, 85 mark in D's corn. It's possible to get it up into the low fours, 420, maybe a little higher. You're going to have to jump on it at that point.
A group of independent rice producers in Louisiana has made their second shipment of rough rice to Mexico using a new port facility at Lake Charles. About 40 farmers made a direct sale of 20,000 tons to a major rice mill in Veracruz the first of the month. Now, this group made its first sale and delivery back in October of last year. Dwight Roberts of the U.S. Rice Producers Association says even if a Louisiana rice farmer did not sell rice on either shipment, he certainly benefited from the price levels in the market that these sales caused. Well, we break for our trivia quiz now, and appropriately enough, our subject is rice. Here's the question for you. What Mississippi Delta county harvested the most rice in 2015? Is the answer Bolivar, Quitman, Tunica, or Sunflower? Stay with us for the answer. We turn to the livestock sector now in the markets. U.S. beef exports in January were up almost 7.5%. Dennis Smith of Archer Financial Services describes that as a good solid number. He notes that U.S. trade was higher to Japan, South Korea, and Hong Kong. The figures were lower from Mexico and Canada. Now, Smith says this marks the first year-over-year increase in beef exports going back to September 2014. He does caution, though, that it will take lower beef prices to keep the trend alive. Smith thinks that packers have been doing just the opposite lately, jacking up wholesale beef prices, as he put it. Meanwhile, for the cattle trade, the question continues to be, which way is the live cattle market headed as we get further into March? Analyst Elaine Cubb says what happens this summer is the key for that answer.
Well, this is a really interesting time frame, right? We're hoping to see a seasonal rally in beef prices and beef demand, and certainly we're looking forward into summer. That, I think, is really going to be the key of whether or not, you look out on the futures strip and they're expecting to see $120, dollars a hundredweight down in August. So is it going to get that bad? I hope not. I hope that what's going to happen is this summer, the U.S. consumer, with all the extra money in their pocket from not having to pay so much for fuel, they're going to go out and grill a bunch and buy a bunch of beef, and so that could really spark some excitement in the market. It tried. The futures market, the nearby futures, really tried this week, but couldn't find buyers above 140. So if you can't make that happen, and we don't see what I'm expecting to happen this summer, if it doesn't show up, then yeah, we could have a bearish trend all the way through the year. But this is really the cusp. I think we're on the cusp of deciding one way or the other what direction this fed cattle market can go in.
Back to trivia now to wrap things up for this week in the markets, and the correct answer is A. Bolivar County harvested over 42,000 acres of rice in 2015.